Hey.
Oh, I'm over here. Oh,
We moved.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
Do you
god,
want
they
me?
switched.
Oh my god. Okay. Hi, welcome to the cup. I don't know whether that was you wanting me to intro or not. Okay, that's fine with me.
If that's what you want. If that's what
I
makes you more
don't care.
comfortable.
I literally nothing. None of it care. None of it.
Start chugging it. Just start
This is what
chugging
we
it.
do.
know.
Welcome to the Cup, everybody. We are here to talk about the premiere of The Amazing Race season 34.
Yep.
Here we are. We're excited. I'm excited. It's been a great premiere night. What?
That was me. Sorry.
I'm about to say, what are we doing here? Yeah. Talk about Amazing Race. I am Lana, your resident diva, here to spill the tea, give the tea, and I also like my own sharing of tea. So if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up and tell me all about it. I am back to my cup. I am finished with my strawberry sun-kissed. I am back to water because it's The Amazing Race, and hydrate, because if you're running around, you need hydration. So I have my water, and I'm ready to talk about The Amazing Race.
Yes, and I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay here with water as always, but I broke out the alcohol because it's late. This is pressed seltzer, hard seltzer, in the flavor lime and lemongrass. It's very good. I highly recommend it.
And we are back with a good friend of ours. Jack is back. Jack is here to talk The Amazing Race with us. Welcome back, Jack.
Hello. My name is Jack. I am a Twitch streamer, which you can see down there. I'm also a game design student in Org Host, a college student on top of that. Let's see what else. And
Did we say Fabulous Human?
Fabulous Human, and I also have this little guy.
Purr. We love that little guy. Oh, I have a little guy too, but it's too far for me to go get her, so I'm gonna leave her there where she is. Maybe next episode, I'll bring her in. Sure. So we are talking about The Amazing Race, and a lot of changes have happened with The Amazing Race this season. Some changes that I particularly like. This twist, yeah. But first, the first big major change that happened this season is they started the leg in Munich, Germany. They have never started outside of the States before. This is the first time they're starting the legs off outside of the States in Munich, Germany. So everybody got to go to Munich, Germany right off the bat and run around Germany. So this is what I liked about the beginning of The Amazing Race. We get The Amazing Race with getting them talking to a couple of teams, talking about, where they're from, who they are, blah, blah, blah. We see Derek and Claire talking to Lewis and Michelle, and they're talking about, what's harder, Big Brother, The Amazing Race, yada, yada. But we get all the teams on this boat, and they're going down this river, and it's lovely. And then all of a sudden, it's a plume ride. It's a longer run, and it's all of it. I'm like, wait, are we at Six Flags now? What is going on? We had no idea. And so they go down this plume ride, and I thought it was kind of cool. I was like, yay, that's fun to start the show with them. Everybody's like, there's no seatbelts on this thing. I thought it was kind of funny.
It was cute.
It definitely was a very different start where everyone's like, okay, we're all gonna do something fun together to get us introduced to this place. Like normally they just have them fly in and they just start running, but no, they all did something together and all had a fun experience together. And it's just a really fun way to start the season.
I liked it. I liked the start. I didn't even look at it like that, but yes, they do have that experience where they start the show together. They do have a fun experience together. Like who gets to go down a river and go down this plume ride together to start the amazing race. No other cast was able to bond like that at the beginning of the race. So that was fun. That was nice. And so they go and they get off the boat and they go see Phil. Everybody's excited to see Phil.
Something that has not changed, Phil Kogan.
No, Phil Kogan is going to stay the same. Phil Kogan is going to be cool. Phil Kogan is my favorite host. I don't care what anybody says. I love me some Phil.
Are we talking exclusively American reality TV?
Yes.
Okay, then I agree with you.
I'm about to say because Arissa Cox is my favorite BB Can host. Period.
I was about to say that. Are you sure on that
one? Arissa just squeaks out Phil by just a little
I'm about to say I love Arissa and I love Phil. For me, Phil and Arissa are top tier hosts. For me. So they're on even playing fields. Because I feel like Phil is so even keel. Like we're not gonna get nothing extra from Phil, and I don't want anything extra from Phil. I want all the extra from Arissa. I want all of I want all my extra coming from Arissa.
Like as far as hosts go, it's like Phil and Arissa are like top tier, and then like honestly for me, it's Nikki Glazer hosting F Boy Island. Like if you haven't watched, she's a great host.
Okay.
And then it's Jeff. I forgot his name. Then it's Jonathan LaPaglia and Nico Panaggio from Survivor Australia and South Africa, respectively. Then it's Phil. Then there's a long drop
to Julie Chen.
Then there's Julie Chen Moonves. Then there's every other host I can't remember because clearly I didn't remember enough. And then TJ Lavin.
Okay, I will insert someone into your list because I think you just accidentally forgot them.
Probably.
Nicole Byer on Literally Anything.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nicole Byer is top tier.
Yeah, Nicole Byer.
Michelle Buteau. I forgot about Michelle Buteau.
You have to do Michelle from The Circle.
Oh wait, where's Emma? But then where's Emma Willis? Oh no.
Oh God. Oh no.
I feel like this is now going to spark a.
Okay, so let's stop. Wait, we have to stop this now. We have to stop this now.
Reality host tier list video coming soon.
Coming soon. That's what I was about to say. We have to do a tier list because
I'm down. I'm ready.
For sure. Because
God, where does RuPaul fit on that? Oh no,
it's just so many.
Anyway,
but yeah, we will go
UK, US, and Australia. There's 3 different.
We have to. It'll take some things, but yeah. So they go meet Phil. And everybody's excited. Some more than others. And I'm talking about Will and Abby, my hometown people from Birmingham, Alabama. She was about to jump out of her skin.
She's too much. I'm saying it. We've watched an episode. I didn't want to judge her too hard because of the 1-minute clip that we got preseason. So I didn't. And I waited until this first episode. And she's too much.
I said it. I said in the on the cast assessment, she gives me Kayla vibes that she's probably gonna be a little too much for me. And I was right. This girl's a little too much, but
you warmed up to Kayla.
I did warm up to Kayla. So therefore I'm not counting her out. And she is a home girl connection with me because I am in Birmingham. She is from Birmingham. They had this whole big watch party in Birmingham for them. It was
that's cute.
I didn't go.
Only for them to literally be in like a minute and a half of the episode, but good.
It was good. But yeah, so some people she was a little much, but I enjoy seeing everybody excited to see Phil and start the race. So Phil drops the bombs on them about the new things of this season that is going to happen. And I was like, yes, I hear. So the first thing, for me, I thought I knew what was to happen. I thought I knew what was going to go down because of what we were told preseason, what was going to happen. Some bombs I knew. This one I did not know. So the first one, he says, this leg of the race is going to be a scramble leg. You can do any chore or any task in any order you want to do. And I was like, huh? What? A scramble? What? Excuse me? You mean to tell me we don't have roadblocks and detours and fast forward?
Well, there was a roadblock, but
I mean,
yeah,
sure, but if you can do it in any order, it's like just
yeah.
Is it really a roadblock? You can just do it in any order. It was just weird.
Yeah, it was a bit strange. I will say this is not the first time I've actually seen this kind of format for a leg before. I am in a couple of org servers that do Amazing Race, and one of the ones I watched recently had a leg where it was you had 6 different locations that you needed to go to and complete them all at once. Now, as it's an org, everyone can more easily watch where everyone is and see what's happening and see how many things they've gotten. Here we have a single hour to tell 12 different team stories of how they got around the city.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice that. You notice that throughout, and especially at the end, because that when we get there, I'll explain why. The end felt like a whirlwind. Like it was just boom, 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 boom.
It was all over the place.
It was definitely all over the place. It was weird. And I was like, okay, so we could just complete stuff whenever we want to do it. Okay, got it. Then he drops another bomb, which one we did know about, that this season there will be no non-elimination legs in the whole entire season. Now, I'm trying to wrap my head around how I feel about this, because I like non-elimination legs because it gives people chances to redeem themselves, something, minute happened and they end up in last place. But I also don't mind it not being an elimination legs, because it's like, look, you are an Amazing Race. If you come in last in any race, you're last and you lose. So I'm like,
But also I wanted this episode to be a non-elimination.
I mean, sure,
Yeah.
It's going to suck because if your faves are coming in last, it just is what it is.
They're in last.
But like last season, I complained a little bit about the excessive non-elimination legs. Like, I feel like I don't mind if you have like 1 or 2 non-elimination legs in the entire race. But last season, it felt like they had like 4 or 5.
I think
and it was
there
like
were 3 or 4. Yeah,
it was just like
I'm currently looking back through like the old season. So 2 people, obviously there were 2 people who got eliminated. Well, 2 teams that got eliminated, and then they had to stop for COVID.
yeah.
And then 4 teams had to withdraw from there.
Yep.
So they
Some people got pregnant, some people broke up, some people just
some people broke up and then went back on reality TV.
Yeah.
I mean, some people some people's family members passed away, they didn't come back. It's just it was a lot that happened last season.
Yeah. And I mean, I think what hurt it even more was the first team that got eliminated. When they came back,
they got eliminated again.
They were eliminated again. So it very much felt like I know, Lana, you may or may not catch this reference. Logan absolutely will. It felt like it felt like the return episode, ironically enough, in Drag Race UK, where after COVID, some people had to come back, someone had to drop, and they brought people back. And then somebody came back into the competition and then was immediately thrown out the door again. Like it was very much like, okay, we need time to figure things out. We're just going to keep the same storyline, but we're just going to push things along. Like it very much felt like that. And I think that's what they're trying to remedy by doing exclusively elimination legs.
I mean, I get that and I understand that, but this is the thing, the beauty of Amazing Race. There's no storyline that they could portray if you just suck as a team. And that was Mo and Michael's fault last season. They just sucked as a team. They came back, they started this race and they were horrible. They just threw those things on the wall, didn't even try to put the pieces together. They were horrible. And then they came back and did the same crap again. So them leaving back to back, doing a roundabout way, I was not mad at them for leaving because they just suck. And it's bad because y'all know me. I say it every time. I root for everybody black. But they were just horrible. They were horrible. So them leaving didn't affect me at all. But yeah, I do know that this being the no non-elimination rounds, it's like it's going to suck sometimes because when our faves are having a bad leg, you want this to be you get that glimmer of hope when Phil says, and whoever comes in last may be eliminated, and you like, oh, it could be, it's possibly, and then he's like, you've been eliminated. You're like, I kind of like that. Right? I like the, but this time there is no guessing. It's just like, oh, you're going to be eliminated.
I will say there is a way to skirt around it, and that is by doing a keep on racing leg, where the pit stop ends, but everyone just keeps going, and there's no penalty for getting in last.
Well, so I think skipping to the very end, I think that's what they're doing in this leg. Yeah, I know there's still an elimination. Well, so here's the thing. When the first place team, who I will not spoil yet because we'll talk about it, but when the first place team comes in, I want to say Jeff. Why we just talked about Survivor. Phil said you are the first team to arrive, not you are team number one. And I noted that because of yesteryear, in the olden times of Amazing Race, if you hear you are the first team to arrive, it means you have a penalty. And in the newer version of Amazing Race, again, sorry, we just talked about Survivor. In the newer editions of Amazing Race, if Phil says you are the first team to arrive, it's usually followed by, but you're still racing, here's your next clue. And so I think that's probably what we're going to see, even though there was still an elimination. I think it's going to be like, well, keep racing around Germany, but this time it's not a scramble. Like, that's kind of where I'm thinking.
And I will say there was an outfit in this season teaser that very much looked like it was a Lederhosen. To a degree where I'm like...
I definitely think it's two legs in Germany. I definitely feel that.
So I looked at the fandom wiki for Amazing Race today. Episode 2, they start in Germany and they go to Austria. We know where they're going. And then by episode 3, they're fully in Austria. So I feel like we're probably going to have a challenge in Germany that maybe determines like flights, but everyone's on the same charter flight, so I'm not really sure. And then everybody goes to Austria and completes the leg. That's what I'm assuming.
So once again, bringing up non-US Amazing Race. Amazing Race Australia did something kind of similar where they very much group people together at certain points and were like, hey, okay, here, go, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, Amazing Race US did that last season too. Yeah. It was much smaller teams, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking through it. Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking through the current thing here, and it is. Oh God,
well, the current season of Amazing Race Australia started with 20 teams, so
and then they got hit by COVID. So,
oof. Well,
yeah,
okay,
they're a season behind, but because the season I'm actually referencing is they brought teams in the middle of the race, so that's what I'm kind of thinking, where they group people together and are like, okay, you go. Then you go. Then you go. And here go the stowaways.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, it's messy.
Interesting. But yeah, so we start the legs. Everybody's running. They have to get in their cars. They got their maps. They got their bags. They got their cars. They're going to go. They're just going to go. Now, question for you gentlemen and everyone here. I know how I would do this, but what is your strategy for grabbing that map, jumping in the car, heading out? Do you go look up the places first, map out where you need to go first, or do you jump in the car, map it out as you go?
I map it out first.
Knowing from experience, I cannot drive in a local area without turning on Waze. I can't, if you tell me a location and just say, okay, get in the car and go, I will not get there. I will end up 5 miles to the west and go, where am I?
Yeah.
Exactly. I felt like I was like, yeah, it might take a little more time, but there's no way I'm just going to grab my map, jump in the car, and try to figure it out as we go. I'm going to stop, figure out all the locations, so when I do go, I know exactly where we're going each time. Right? Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Speed. Like literally, that's all you need to do. I just don't understand people just jumping in. So you're first out of the gate at the. So what? What that means nothing if you get lost. So like I was very interested watching different people's strategies and them jumping in the car and leaving. And then some people stopping, getting the directions, finding people to tell them where to go. Like, do I think Asta and Nina talked too much to those people when they were getting the directions? Absolutely. Yeah. Like, you can talk to the locals, thank them for, letting you use your phone, getting the directions, but they was holding full-blown conversations. I was like, Asta, this is a race still. We can thank them, get my Google, get my my instructions, my directions, and move on. They just took a long time, but other people just left and was trying to get it in the car. I'm looking at Marcus and Michael, and you just don't know where you're going. And I'm like, well, what? It just didn't. But okay, so with this new scramble strategy that they're doing, it's very confusing. Like we talked about this off air. As a viewer, watching this, fantastic. Loved every second of it. It was great to watch it. I was on the edge of my seat, like who's doing what, where, doing what. It was great. As a podcaster, taking notes, trying to make sure we give you the most accurate information that we could possibly give you, because that's what we aim to do here on The Cup. Frustrating. Absolutely horrible format for podcasters. Horrible.
That's why I broke out the alcohol, because I was like, there's no linear way to talk about this episode. So it's so much you can't accurately say who was where, what times, who's first, who's second. You just don't know. And the way they were covering and jumping back and forth from each thing, it was so we're just going to do this. This is what I came up with in my head just now. Okay.
So one of the challenges was an obstacle course wheelbarrow race. You had to do a wheelbarrow race.
That was roll, correct?
Yeah, that was the roll. And you had to roll the barrel through this obstacle course, and you had to do it in under a minute?
55 seconds.
55 seconds. So you have 55 seconds to roll it both ways. One way down the obstacle, and your partner has to take it the other way. 55 seconds. So that was one of the challenges. Logan, why don't you tell them about another challenge that they had to do?
Oh God, there was the roadblock. Yep. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what that one was called. I'm going to be honest. I think it was a little chill. So it was the roadblock where one player had to basically take an ice pick and get their little clue out of a block of ice.
Right, correct. That was it.
Smash, yeah.
Yeah, smash.
It was smash.
It was smash.
It was, simply put, they took the name very literally.
Literally. And Jack, why don't you tell us about the last challenge that they had to do?
The last challenge that they had to do, if we've already covered smash and roll. I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is saw, using a traditional oversized saw for two people. Saw through a log, completely through it, and it going back and forth until that log hits the ground. And it must be the entire log, as one team found. I think it was
Derek and Claire
found out. If there was anything left, they had to get it.
So yeah, those are the challenges, people.
Whoa.
Now, we can't tell you times of who did what and what times or whatever because they were all over the place. We don't know. It was very chaotic, but it was interesting to watch. But like Jack has mentioned on Saw, we'll talk about the highlights of each one that we did see, I think.
Well, I was gonna say I came up with this in my mind.
Okay.
Do we each want to do a highlight from each of the challenges?
Sure.
That we remember.
Sure.
Cool.
I will. What do we want to do? The ones that we talked about, or do we want to do different ones?
Oh, I was gonna say one from each.
I know. Okay.
Like I'm gonna do one from Smash and Roll and Saw.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the idea.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll with it.
I don't mind starting.
Sure.
If we want. Okay. Asta and Nina rolling. I just. Oh God. I felt so bad. Because like the second one, I think they were like a second short. And I'm like, come on now. No. So I felt really bad for them. And then with that being said, Lewis and Michelle coming in and literally slaying in one go and leaving. I was like, oh baby, no.
It was so bad.
Okay, so that was Roll. Smash. Oh, okay. I don't remember which of the brothers it was, whether it was Marcus or Michael. I think it was Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
But whoever did it, just smashing through that ice at the rate that he did, I have to be honest. I was a little exhilarated. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Honorable mention also to Lewis doing it.
That was going to be my mention.
That was also going to be mine.
Not this!
Lewis literally just absolutely destroyed.
He obliterated that thing.
Oh my God,
I think Molly was right next to it and just going.
It literally took him 2 swings of that thing to break that thing in down. He was just like, blah, blah, and he was like, there you go. I was like, oh my God. That was, but he is a firefighter, so I expected nothing less from him.
Yeah.
But that man is, by the way, hot.
Yes.
I
need him to do a leg day or two, but sure.
I can care less. I just want to see him when he has to. He needs to be shirtless at some point in this entire game. At some point, I don't know when, but just for me,
I won't take the obvious one for Saw, but I just love the crossfade of like 6 different people finishing Saw at once. Because they just didn't have enough time to show everybody doing Saw, so it was like boom Saw, boom Saw, boom Saw, all the while someone else was struggling. But I'll leave that for one of y'all. But just crossfade. It's like this should have been I understand that Survivor was a 2-hour premiere. I wish Survivor had been an 1.5-hour premiere, and I wish Amazing Race had gotten an 1.5 hour.
I agree.
I think Survivor dragged on a little too long at points, and I think The Amazing Race needed that extra time.
Yeah,
they just didn't get that.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's my 3 from each. So I don't know who wants to go next.
Jack, you can go.
So in terms of Smash, I do have a question because I rewatched Derek's, and that ice looked really easy to break through. So I wonder if they had a strategy of looking at it and kind of, I don't know how much info they were given. Maybe they kind of figured things out and said, maybe if we go to that task later, the ice blocks that we made will be slightly less hard because they melt.
Yep.
So
I don't think they were given the information on what the tasks were. I think they were just given the names.
They were given Saw, Smash, and Roll. But yeah, Derek absolutely smashed through that block like it was butter. Yeah. And let's see. In terms of Roll, probably my favorite was Dom just getting it done and then being so proud of herself and literally saying, I do hard things because it's challenging and I know I can't give up. And just seeing that I know how strong and how amazing she is at not only this, but also just straight up her job as a motivational speaker, because that is exactly what you'd expect a motivational speaker to say.
Okay, let me just jump in real quick.
I was gonna say, can we take a second on Rich and Dom?
I was about to say, can we take a second on the Rich and Dom of it all? I absolutely love them together. I absolutely love them on this show. Dom is like, okay, because we talked about Mariah on Survivor and how it's rare that we were going to get 2 Black women with rainbow colored hair on 2 different shows on the same season at the same time. Like, what? Who is casting? But it was amazing. And both of them are absolutely gems. Like, gems. And we saw what happened with Mariah. And I was very nervous with this episode because I was like, especially when they started struggling with the role, I was like, if this is what takes out Rich and Dom, I'm going to lose my mind. I am not going to be well with this whole situation, especially after watching Mariah leave in such a horrible fashion. I was like, if I lose Dom right now because the role of the obstacles of this beer cake, I am going to literally throw up and shake and cry because it would have been horrible. But yeah, we'll talk about what happens later. But Dom is, oh my gosh, when she was so proud of herself for making it through that thing, I was like, I feel that, because I know me, I would have struggled with that because I'm not a physical person like that. I would have struggled trying to get the barrel through those obstacles, and I would have been very proud of myself if I did it. It's like, oh. And her quote, what you just said, it was like, if you didn't feel something in that moment, you are not human. You are just
you don't have a heart. I'm so sorry.
You just don't.
This is how you're finding out. You just don't have a heart.
It was
or a soul.
Or soul.
Nothing is there.
Oh my God. It's the Rich and Dom of it all. I cannot. They're amazing. I cannot. Okay, continue, Jack. Whatever. Oh, unless Logan has something to say about Dom.
And then that was mainly it. And then in terms of the last one, I mean, saw a lot of. I mean, somebody as Rich and Dom were actually there. Someone else figured out that like they were doing big movements.
It was Linton and Sharik.
Linton and Sharik, who are easily like my team that I think is right now going to be in a really good position because they just have a good chemistry and they also know how to bounce off each other really well. Like they have a generational difference that'll do it.
Yeah.
Did Linton or Sharik say short movements?
I think it was Linton. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but they were like, if we do shorter movements, like that's how it's supposed to be done, as opposed to that.
Yeah, and that's just a simple example, which we've seen so many times before, of working smarter, not harder.
I was gonna say physics.
Oh, physics too, but yeah.
But
I mean, half of physics is working smarter, not harder.
Very much.
Lana. Let me start with Saul. We mentioned it before, but Derek and Claire they were on a good rhythm. They were on a good pattern. They was doing what they needed to do, and they broke it off and fell off, but they left just the tiniest bit. And the man was like, no good. And they're like, oh, wait, we got to get this. So they just saw it.
I thought they were going to have to do a whole other one. Yeah.
Me too. I thought they were going to have to start all over. But the man was like, nope, it's good. I was like, oh.
That is something I actually didn't consider. Like, I never thought they would have to potentially redo it.
I thought they would have to redo it because they didn't cut it clean. I'm thinking it's the clean cut of it all.
Well, I think back to whatever. Oh, was it the challenge last season? Oh, the grape leaves.
Yes.
Challenge from last season, where where they had to do it perfectly. Didn't hold it perfectly correct.
Then it was like
you had to do it over again. Like that's what I was thinking, and I was like, if they make them do this again, no.
It was crazy. So I thought that was interesting. And Lewis and Michelle had some issues with this one. I was very surprised. She was getting very frustrated with not solving this thing right. And they had some issues. Okay, and let me just talk about this team too. Aubrey and David, I said in the preseason, I loved them. I said in the preseason, if my man don't look at me the way David looks at Aubrey, I don't want him. Because this man is so patient and so loving and so kind. And even when she's like freaking out or even when she's struggling, he is so supportive. And I love that because they were struggling a little bit during the Saw as well. And he was just like, she was like, oh my God, I don't know. And he's like, it's okay. We're going to do it. Just calm down. Just keep sawing. We're in the middle. He was just so like, we were talking about, we were wondering if anybody was going to be like these husbands who come on these shows sometimes with their wives. And it's like, come on.
And lose it.
And lose their minds. And I'm like, seriously, dude. Calm it down. Like, don't do that. I hate it so much when I see that. And so but the way this man was looking at his wife in the preseason on the videos, I was like, if he switches it up and turns into a monster on the show, I am going to like be so disappointed. Yeah. But he did not so far. He was so loving, so supportive. I love this couple as just the couple who they are. Are they going to be my favorite in the race? I don't know. I don't care. I just love them as the couple for who they are because they just like I said, if my man don't look at me like he looks at her, I don't want him because that was beautiful. Then on the roll, I don't know. I think everybody got through pretty quickly. My baby's here. I'm sorry. Hey Kennedy. It's my Kennedy, guys.
It's a Kennedy invasion.
It's a Kennedy invasion.
Hi, Kennedy.
Hi, Kennedy.
So yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, so I didn't really know who I was dealing with the you wanna oh, you want to turn around. Got you. Who we were going to in the role. I don't know who stood out to me. I love that Lumumba and Glenda they just did it.
Yeah.
Like they just did it. And I love seeing people, like a lot of people just came through and just did it. Like they just, they got it, knocked it out the park. And then some people they struggled a little bit. And I didn't mind the struggle because like I said, I know I'd be the one struggling. And when it came to the Smash, like I think everybody did really well on Smash. I don't think Smash was that hard and it was not that difficult. People got it in a couple of Smash. You know who I was like tripping out about a little bit? Quentin and Maddie. Like Quentin was he used that the chisel and he was like breaking off little pieces here and a little piece there and a little. I was like, Quentin,
I'm like, what?
Use the muscles and break that ice. Just break it down already. Yeah. But
yeah,
it was. But yeah, that's my take.
Love it. So that's that. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot else that happened, so we could just talk about the winner of the leg, first place, Derek and Claire. I mean, I'm very happy.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Derek and Claire. I mean, as a Big Brother fan, somebody who watched Derek and Claire, who loved them on their season, I'm rooting for them. They didn't get a chance with the cookout last season to actually win the Big Brother, and you know what? Yeah, I'm sorry, it just had to happen that way. But I do want them to. I am rooting for them to win this season because I feel like if anybody's going to win, and not that it's a lot of people who I want to. I will be very happy seeing winning. Derek and Claire are one of those people because like. It's their second chance to win. We saw Derek on the challenge and he didn't win that either. So why not get on the Amazing Race and win that?
I just love that Claire has now been on the other two tenants of CBS reality TV, except for the one that she's like a super fan of. Like that just makes because she's
a super fan of Survivor.
a
Yes.
super fan of Survivor. So I'm like, please.
A goddamn Survivor game.
She literally hosted one of the better college Survivor programs in the country. Yeah, I had to explain the backstory of Claire to my roommate who doesn't watch Big Brother, and he was like, "Oh wow," was his exact reaction.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, that's about right. But
I mean, I feel like we will see Claire on Survivor at some point. If she still wants to do it, she probably can do it. Especially like you said, running Survivor, a Survivor game. I think she will be able to do that.
Yeah. So Derek and Claire win the leg. Second place, making me very happy, Glenda and Lumumba.
Yes.
I'm loving them. Very happy. Third place,
Quentin and Maddie.
Kind of surprised.
Shocked.
The edit did not make it seem like they were going to be third.
Now, here's the confusing thing with the edit. So there was exactly one moment. Exactly one, besides like, oh, a team completed a task. Here's a check. That they showed, here are the teams with 2 tasks complete. Here are the teams with 1 task complete. That happened once.
What?
If there was like some sort of consistent way to show like, oh, this is getting done, this is getting done. Like when Marcus and Michael were on screen, that is when the montage of people completing Saw went through.
Saw.
Like it very much felt like, oh, you guys had a lot of time to work with, and then you just rushed the last like 15 minutes into like when it should have been about a 30-minute.
Yeah,
they really needed that extra time for Amazing Race, and that Survivor took that they didn't really need. So, it was interesting. But then, this is where it got confusing at the finish line, because 4th, 5th, 6th, and I think 7th all came in at the same time. Yeah. So it was Linton and Sharik, and then it was Emily and Molly. And then Marcus and Michael, and then Rex and Tim. And I want to say Abby and Will came in right closely behind
I think they
that.
did too.
It was basically like one team, and then another team, and then another team, and then another team.
There were too many people on the mat with that man with a very nice mustache.
Mm-hmm,
oh, very
Love
nice.
the mustache.
It was DX and Claire, Glenda and Lumumba.
Yeah.
And then like 2 different sets of groups. And at a certain point, it's like, okay, we know who's left and who isn't.
Yeah.
It all came down to Rich and Dom, Lewis and Michelle, Aubrey and David, and then Asta and Nina.
Yeah.
And it was like, then like I said, Abby and Will came closely after Rex and Tim. And then Rich and Dom comes in. And I was thankful and grateful for that.
Yeah, thankful.
And then Lewis and Michelle came in. I was very shocked by this 10th place finish. I thought they were going to do much better. But
especially with their dominant performance out of the leg, and just like, oh, you guys got 10.
Well,
what happened?
And speaking of a 10th place placement, something that I saw on Twitter, I don't remember who it was, I'm so sorry, but someone was like, wait, because at one point, Emily and Molly were in 5th, and then when they leave the final task, they leave in 10th. And I'm like, how did Emily and Molly suddenly go from 5th to 10th, and then end up at the mat 8th?
So
no, they ended up 5th.
They ended up 5th. Here's the thing that obviously a lot of teams couldn't have prepped for, and I think it was mentioned by one team, and I think this actually was Emily and Molly. They knew that somewhere in the city was the pit stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
They just had to guess where it was and try and get their final location to be as close as possible. And that's probably what happened, where technically they finished that last thing 10th, but their drive was short enough that they ended up passing 5 people just because of distance. Which
I think they ended at Smash, wasn't it?
They ended at Smash. I would need to check what the actual locations were. So it was Luitpold Park, Englisher Garten, Agnestor Keller Biergarten, and Frieden Segnal, or the Angel Piece was the actual pit
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
So I think they ended up showing on the map that it does form a triangle, but Frieden Segnal, I think, was above that triangle,
I think so.
which made it very clear that, if you chose the one place that was lower, good luck.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you just chose wrong and there's nothing you could do about it.
Right.
Which is unfortunate. Like, obviously, the thing I talked about earlier, there's no real need to do that, and I'm pretty sure they still had it in basically the middle of it, and there were like 5 or 6 different locations that it could have been.
Yeah.
But it still sucked to see, like, it's potentially that the last place team just happened to choose wrong.
Mhm.
And obviously completing tasks quicker would have helped and all that, but
Well,
still.
it's just the nature of this race, how they got it set up, especially with no non-elimination legs this season. You just have to be on it. You can't mess up, or you don't have a hope. You don't have a chance anymore. So, and it's crazy. It sucks, but after Lewis and Michelle comes in 11 places down to Aubrey and David and Asta and Nina, and unfortunately eliminated this leg is we both do it at the same time. Asta and Nina.
This
one hurt too because I really liked them. I was so sad. Logan, you picked them as your winner pick.
I know.
Oh, look,
I'm aware.
It goes out first, and your winner pick goes first. Sick.
I don't even know like how many times we've had a woman loving woman pair on a reality show. Period.
Hardly
ever. I don't think
I would be hard pressed.
I can't remember any queer women pairs, especially queer women of color, and I'm like, this is just upsetting.
Yeah, it's just like
never, hardly ever.
And the worst part, and I mean, it was good editing on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were talking to Aubrey and David as they were checking in for the 11th, and they and Phil was clearly leading them on. Like, they were trying to not say you were last because they could see them. They were waiting for that moment.
Yes,
and
it was great editing.
Aubrey's face where she's just like,
like when she realized we are not last, it was it was great editing. Great, it was a great moment for the TV for that. And like you say, I think they waited for the sisters to pass. I mean, the couple to pass
delayed them
because it was just such a good moment for her. Aubrey realizing that we are not last, and we still have to go a chance in this race. It sucked for Asta and Nina coming in last because, like I said, that was Logan's winner pick. That was what I loved them. They were like a heart pick for me, and so, but they are eliminated. That's what it is. That's the name of the game.
Yep.
Unfortunately. But we got some. What I will say about this season, I like these teams. I do too. If there is nobody on this cast that I'm not rooting for.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because you would think I wouldn't want to see Rex and Tim do anything well because Rex is a football coach, a former NFL football coach. It's like, you got money, man. You don't need to be on the Amazing Race. But
it was for experience,
right. But the fact that he was like, I lost 50 pounds for this. This has been something I wanted to do. I wasn't a great football coach. Like, I wasn't the best football coach in the NFL. Yeah. So he was like, it's just it was something, and I enjoy his story with Tim and how they just golf buddies who just me, and y'all know I root for everybody black on these shows, so I'm like, y'all giving me a plethora of people to root for, and now then all these amazing like women on the show are just. Molly and Emily's story just grips my whole soul. They grip my whole soul, and I want them to do well. I want to see Glenda and Lumumba just kill it. I want to see Linton and Shanique. Like they come on, Jamaica. I want to see them kill it too. It's just a great. I really am enjoying this season so far already.
Yep.
And I can't. Sad to see I still need to go, but I am loving the rest of these crew. I can't wait.
Yep. And that's that premiere.
Premiere.
Amazing Race 34 is that's the premiere. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, maybe the same people. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
But we'll be here.
Just
Subscribe.
follow us. Subscribe and like, follow us. All that stuff down at the bottom. You see it. Do all that. Follow us, like us, share us, and after that, we'll be back. So
We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye bye.
See you around.
I didn't even. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Adios. Peace out.
Goodbye.